Okay. So welcome everyone. I I have invited quite a few people now to join this webinar with Jacquie Forde and me. Some people know Jacquie and some people know me, and I'll introduce both of us and what we're going to talk about and how it looks. Some of you have been on Zoom meetings before. This is webinar. It's not a common video meeting with a lot of video participants. This is just me and Jacquie talking, and you can send in questions. Yeah. So for those who don't know me, I'm Kjetil Haugmo. I've been working as a coach for 11 years now, and been running my own company for the last 7 years. And I work with leaders, salespeople, and other people too, to help them have a more happy life and also perform better in their businesses. That's the short bio. So why are we here today? I've asked Jacquie to come or speak with me and have a conversation with me about the power of presence. And I've wanted to do that because I've put together a program, mentoring program, that I've asked Jacquie to join me in the program, to be one of the mentors together with me. And also when I met Jacquie the first time I met her, I was just so touched. So I just wanted people to have the opportunity to have the same experience as I did when I met you. So now I'm talking to you now because I only look at you. Yeah. So I want to introduce you, Jacquie, just to talk a little bit about you. I know that you've done a lot of coaching work for quite many years now. I don't know how many. I know that you've been working with businesses and private clients, and I know that you've done some work with the Parliament in Scotland, and you know, I know that you're out there and having a great impact in the world. And I'm really deeply honored to be on this conversation with you now. And I'm just looking forward to slipping into it and just seeing where it takes us. I don't know where. We have nothing prepared. So we can talk about anything. And I really invited you both to the mentoring program and to this call because you touched my heart deeply the first time that we met. You know, I just, and I can remember it just like it was yesterday. You know, I was on this course that you were the mentor for the program in England for, I don't know, 1.5 years ago or something like that. And I never talked to you, and I had some, you know, personal thinking going on. I felt a little insecure for a moment there, and I was, I don't know if it was some kind of authority. You were the mentor, and I was there, and I was just having some thinking about that in my mind, and or maybe it was because I was speaking English. It could have been anything. It was just some insecure thinking. And, you know, the way that you approached me just really made all that go away. You know, I could just see, even though I felt insecure for a moment, like I do sometimes, you know, your loving presence just changed me. You know, you didn't judge me, you didn't analyze me, you were just there. and you just saw me, and you didn't, you knew that I wasn't the person of the insecure thinking. You knew that that wasn't me. So you just saw through that, and just saw the best in me. And when you did that, that changed me. I just relaxed into your presence, and from there on, I don't know, we just connected soul to soul. Just yeah, it was beautiful. So I was just like, I don't know, it was just really opened up my heart. And when I was thinking about, what are we going to talk about today, to me, it couldn't be anything than the power that I felt when I met you the first time. And that's, all of that weekend that we spent together in England was just, it was just that. That's what I felt when you were there. That was the power of being yourself, and being present, and being free in a way. So yeah. So that's what I want to talk with you about today. I haven't prepared anything. I know that we're just going to have a conversation about life and presence, and I would love to talk about, what is presence, and why is that so important, and how do you do it, basically.
That's the big joke. How do you do it? Before I start, I just want to say that really touched my heart what you said there, and I could feel my eyes filling up, because it's all we have. It really is all we have, is our essence. And as my understanding has deepened, I've seen my family and my clients go from a place of, I was meeting them as that label of family or client or student. And then all of a sudden I started to see them as human beings. And what I've loved about how I see people, I see souls just dancing, essentially, that we're all trying our best to live our lives. And we fuck up. We fuck up all the time.
Yeah.
But being able to see that with a sense of humour and a sense of grace, and just letting that go, is the essence of being. And I remember that weekend really clearly as well, because I was out of my comfort zone. I'd flew down from Scotland to be in England. It was one of the first courses that I'd mentored on. I was walking into a room full of people I didn't know. But yet the minute I walked in the room and I saw you and I saw the other people, there was just that shared humanness, that we were all there together. We were all there to learn and to share our experiences. I never go into anything, Kjetil, thinking that I have something that somebody else needs to know or wants to hear, because that would just be foolish. When I go to speak with people or to meet people or to have conversations, I just want to feel other people's hearts. And, it does sound silly at times, but when I can feel someone's heart when I'm speaking with them, the whole conversation transforms. I drop down into my heart if I'm not there already. My personal thinking just drops down into this lovely, still, quiet place. And don't get me wrong, I've had instances where I've been in quite high-profile meetings with politicians, and I've seen my thinking go up and down like a yo-yo. Like, I was observing what was happening,
Mm.
You know, as you're speaking to someone, your personal thinking saying things like, he's not getting this. He thinks you're a crackpot. He thinks you're an idiot. You're talking about spirituality. You're going to get thrown out of the parliament, Jackie. Shut up now. Just leave. But at the same time, I can see that and I can hear that and I can laugh about it. Because I know that's not me.
Yeah.
The real me is that quieter me, that still me, that sees other people as souls, not as the label of who, the disguise in which they've shown up to have the conversation. And I had another experience of that. I was in speaking to the Ministry of Defence in Scotland, and this guy walked in with his full uniform on. And I was really, really intimidated by it. You know, he had his gun and he had his, you know, all his badges of war. And I just felt really, really uncomfortable. And then that new thought came. The new thought came into my head. Oh gosh, he's just playing dress up. You know, which was something as a kid, you would put something on, you go, right, this is me, this is who I am. And it just softened everything that was happening. And ever since that, now when I see business people or I see people with smart suits on, or, you know, little girls going out and getting dressed up to go out, or anybody, we're all just playing dress up. So how can you not feel compassion for everyone when we're all just playing dress up?
Oh, yeah. 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 It touched me in many ways, what you said now, you know, just many ways. I don't know where to begin, but that's what happens when we put away the dress up. You know, we can just be ourselves, and we can deeply connect with people, and we are present to the moment. And, you know, just before this webinar that I haven't prepared anything for, you know, nothing. I just knew that we would talk about something, and it would go somewhere. And you know, when my intellect wanted or thought, you know, if you got that story or that story or that story, you know, then you'll be safe, then you'll be okay, you know. So I kind of saw that happening earlier today, and I just ignored that, or I just saw it and that's interesting, and just let it go again, because we can really trust and have faith in the moment right now, you know. Of course, it's just a normal conversation, and also not only that, you know, coming from the heart and being present. If I would think about all the things that I would say, you know, or ask you, or how to say them, and how to ask you, and rehearse the stories or whatever, you know, I would come from my head. I wouldn't come from my heart. And you can't touch people when you come from your head, you know. So,
I mean, that in itself is the way we've been conditioned, though, since we were born, is to think about ourselves and our lives in a very, very different way. And I guess that's what I love so much about this understanding of the principles, is that they're spiritual truths. For me, they're the foundation on which all religion is built. The foundation of how every single human being creates the reality of their own lives. It's that simple, yet in that simplicity, we get so confused, looking for so much more. When I was thinking about presence earlier today in my walk, I thought, my background, I've done NLP and I've been an NLP trainer and all that kind of thing as well. And it reminded me about a story. And the story was that I was down in London at the first Three Principles conference I'd ever been at. And I was just amazed, Kjetil, at how calm everything was. There was about 500 or 600 people in the room. So quiet. But yet it wasn't quiet. There was conversations happening. There just wasn't that jangly noise that sometimes you get when there's hundreds of people in a room. The energy is very spiky. It's not smooth and soft and gentle. And now I sound like an aging hippie. But that's how it felt to me. And I loved it. Because in my corporate life, I'd been to many, many conferences before, all over the world, and spoken at them. And you could feel almost like a dark energy in the room. You could feel people not feeling comfortable with themselves. You could feel people judging other people, looking for approval, all sorts of things happening. But at that conference, the 3P conference, there was none of that I could feel. And you start to wonder, was it I was in a different place in my head? Was my thinking clearer? Had I settled? And I think it's a bit of both. But I stayed down in London, and the following weekend I went to an NLP conference I'd been given tickets for. And it was Richard Bandler and Paul McKenna were speaking. And I loved NLP. NLP was wonderful, and I'm never going to say anything other than it helped to point me in this direction, because I knew I was an overthinker. And when I went into that NLP conference, there were people lining the doors as a welcome for people coming in. And I could feel them holding a state of friendliness, of happiness, sort of, hello, how are you? Please go this way. And there's a tension that people feel when they do that, instead of this settled, hi, how are you? So that tension of, hey, how you doing, is up here. And that settled, hey, how are you? Because you want to hear how the other person is. And that's what I love about the difference between the principles and neurolinguistic programming, is that from a principles perspective, it's so much easier. How difficult is it just to be yourself?
Yeah. Yeah.
But yet it's the one thing that most people are afraid to be, because they're scared that people are going to judge them. They're scared of what other people will think of them, or they're looking for approval that they're doing the right thing. So again, they're looking for external validation instead of internal validation. This feels right. This is who I am, and what I'm saying is me.
Yeah. I love that. It's just, it makes being a human being so much more simple. And life, life can be peaceful and meaningful. Not if we achieve. There's nothing wrong with achieving, but if I am the best, if I do that, then I can feel good. I can just begin with feeling good. And then other things will be easier. Everything is easier.
And for me, I guess that's the difference between holding life lightly, which means going with the flow, seeing what happens, following your wisdom moment to moment, making plans if that's what's right for you, because your wisdom will guide you to what those plans are. And I don't mean do nothing, because if you did nothing, you wouldn't achieve anything. Versus the tension, the intent that sometimes we all hold, trying to make things happen, like swimming upstream, going against what our instincts are telling us is the right, the right or the wrong thing to do. For example, when I left my corporate business, I decided corporate career, and I started my own businesses. I created them from a place of fear. I had no clue that's what I'd done. And I only saw that very, very recently. I'd created them from a place of fear that I had to earn money, and that the ego was tied up in it, and that I had to do well, and other people had to see that I was doing well. And I had all these burdens on me that I had created. Luckily, the businesses did very well, but that's the kind of thing that other people sense. They feel from you. There's a desperation. There isn't a lightness about it and a joy about it. And that's something that I've really loved seeing, that I thought I was creating from a place of creativity and great business focus. But really, I was creating from a place of fear, and I didn't realise that I had so much fear in my life. Because I'm a gutsy woman, and I didn't see that I was running scared most of the time.
Yeah, you're talking about my life too,
I wonder why that is.
Yeah. Does anybody else feel the same way? That's been my career too. That's been my life up to the last 3 years when I started really understanding how the state of mind works, understanding how to listen more to my own voice, my own wisdom. When I was in fear and desperation and worry, and I didn't even see it. I didn't know. I just, because I was this positive guy, like you said, just turning on. Yes, I can do it. Yes, say yes. Yeah, and I said yes, and I was running, and I was running after all the giants within the personal development industry, and trying to do what they did, and kind of becoming a bad copy in a way. And when I saw that, when I saw my own insecurity and worry and stress and desperation in that way, it was new to me, but I didn't see how much it was. It was so big in my life, and that's kind of what's been happening the last 3 years. It's just I've just seen more and more, and the more I've seen of my own stressful and insecure and limited ways of looking at myself and life, they've more and more dropped away, and guiding me back to the present, and feeling the power of the present, of now. And what happened through my business is that, it's so much more simple. I just do things. I never been as productive as I am now. I just do things, and I'm okay that things are where they are, so I can just do things, and things grow, and I can be with people, and I don't care about, it's not that money has a little, it is a little bit important regarding business, but it's just taken the back seats so much, you know, because money comes when you really help people and be in service with them, you know, and it's really difficult to help people and being in service with them if you're way up in your head.
Yes.
You can't, you know. So it really changed my business and my life too, and yeah.
I love that, Kjetil. You know, when you think about how we can show up or how we've shown up in the past, there's for me, there's been very much a lot of internal dialogue while I've been speaking with people, because I've wanted them to think that I was windswept and interesting, that I was smart, you know, that I could answer and deal with everything. But while this personal thinking's going on, you don't have access to the impersonal, to your own divine intelligence, because this noise is quietening out everything else that's there. And it's lovely when you can settle into that place. And everybody's done it. I mean, I don't know how many people on this webinar know about the principles or have an understanding about this, but each and all of us have at some point in our lives felt completely calm, completely relaxed. We've had nothing on our mind. It may be we're stroking a cat or a dog. It may be we're holding a child. It may be we're sitting on a beach or we're high on a hill, just lost in thought, but not knowing what that thought is. And I do believe that each and all of us have the gift to share our own wisdom with each other, irrespective of what else is going on in our lives. And I remember someone saying something to me a couple of weeks ago, that they were having a particularly hard time. Things in their life weren't particularly good. There was a couple of sort of illnesses, etc., in the family. And so the family were all lost in their own personal thinking. And they were all in a very low state of mind. And what we mean by a low state of mind is that you can't access your own wisdom because you're so lost in your own thinking. And with that, you're believing your own personal thinking. You're treating it as being very real, when in fact, we live in a thought-created reality. And a lot of people don't see that. They see that their reality creates their thoughts instead of it being the other way around. And that's why we speak of this as being inside out and not outside in. And it was interesting when I was talking to this friend about how many members of her family were in low states of mind, and she felt she was being pulled into that low state of mind. So when she was showing up in a low state of mind as well. And I said to her, when people are in that low state of mind, they won't hear you no matter what you say.
Yeah.
But if you meet them with love, they will hear. So when my kids get into a funk about things, I have this thing I do with them now, Kjetil, and I just say, do you want a hug? And they say, do you want a hug? And I'm like, oh yeah. We turn it round and it's about me rather than it being about them, because that hug slows things down. We're being kind of service to one another, and we're meeting in that space of love. We don't have to talk about whatever it is that's causing an issue or a problem. But I can still share from my heart about where I am and my day and what's happening. I don't have to address what's happening in their lives. I don't have to think that I've lost the ability to share, because I realize that I'm human and that I can go from a low state of mind to a high state of mind in a millisecond.
Yeah. Me too. Yeah.
I was just going to say, Leslie, I hope that kind of answers what you asked there. If you just let me know, that would be great.
Yeah. Okay. So I haven't looked much at the questions yet. I'll just flowing a little bit, and we'll open up a little bit more soon. And you know, I just reminded me when you talked about, you know, being heard, and when you're up in your own thinking. I had a client for a little while back, and she was, when her mother came to her place with her family, she just never enjoyed that. It was quite the opposite, and she was just, oh, she comes in and she takes over and she just tells us to be like that and that and so
Yeah.
and and so we just talked about how she went into this low state of mind, creating all this thinking about her mom, and creating all of that, of how she'd seen her from the past, and now she's thinking about how she's going to see her in the future.
Yeah.
So she wasn't present at all, and that happened every time. And when we started talking about that, and she started realizing that she could be present and see her mom in a fresh way, you know. So she got inspired about that, and maybe it's possible, you know. And I saw her the day after, and her mother had been there. And when I came in, I was working with this company then, and so when I saw her the day after, you know, she was not the same woman. You know, she was just a light. She couldn't wait to talk, you know, and share what happened. And she was present. She was not up in her head. And her mother had seen her and given her a compliment for the first time in 10 years. In 10 years, and they really connected. So it's just so powerful. You know, you will be heard, you know, when you're present, because you connect with people. Just changes everything, every relationship.
And I wonder how often, Kjetil, we get into that situation that we feel as though we need to say a lot.
Yeah.
To help someone, we need to say a lot, you know, sort of, and direct them and tell them what it is they need to do to change or to fix things, or, you know, we might have elaborate stories we want to share. When sometimes when you deeply listen to someone,
yeah, it's not much left to say then, you know, because it just reminded me of the Moji clip I saw for not long back. You know, he was just talking to this guy and he had some questions and he couldn't get them out of his mouth, and they were just laughing. They were just laughing and laughing and laughing. And then he just said, you know, after 5 minutes of laughing, he just said, you know what? Okay, I get it. I get it. No questions, you know. And to me, you know, that what laughing and light and love,
yeah,
you know, that's what we're asking for anyway, you know. That's what we want to feel. So when we feel that, we don't need anything, you know. We can just be that, and we are that.
yeah. I earlier on, when I was thinking about presence and about showing up and, you know, how life is, and I was thinking about all these techniques that people learn how to be present.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, when you think of someone having presence, it tends to be, people think, oh, they've got charisma, or they've got some gravitas about them that makes you listen to what it is they're saying, or they speak with authority. It's fascinating when you see that speaking from a place of humility can often get the work done so much quicker, so much easier. I find this in sort of discussions I have with the Scottish Government and the Parliament, that if I go in there and I'm speaking from a place of know-it-all, that I know everything that's going on, and I'm condemning what they're doing, then that's not the place that I'm going to get anything done from. But if I show up, and it's not an intention of, this is how I'm going to show up today, so here are the 5 things that I do every day to show up with loving presence. I know that if I show up from my heart with a clear mind, anything can happen. Absolutely anything, because universal intelligence has got my back. It's proven it to me time and time and time again. In fact, when I organised a meeting in the Scottish Parliament, and I had Elsie Spettle, Jan and Chip Chipman, Aaron Turner and Jack Pransky and myself all speaking the night before, they were in my house and they were saying, "What are we going to be talking about, Jackie?" I said, "Well, here's the title." I thought I was just being naughty, because I thought, if we are all able to speak from that place, I don't want to set an agenda. Here's the title of the meeting. Let's go and do it. And the politician kept saying to me, "Jackie, I normally get a briefing document telling me what's going to be happening." And I said, "No, you're not going to get one for this. It's not going to happen." And it was fascinating to watch the flow of what changed and how it changed throughout that meeting, how one person's opportunity to speak easily fueled the other person's ability to speak, and everything was said that needed to be said. And when you see that flow happening again and again and again, you realise that you can be anything you want to be in any given moment, and what you need will come to you. And again, I'm not saying don't do your homework. If there's homework and facts and figures to be learned, go and learn it. But know that you will show up with everything that you need to communicate that.
Yeah, that's beautiful and hopeful.
Honestly, I feel as though universal intelligence is like, like Popeye has his muscle and he eats spinach. Popeye, the cartoon, and he eats his spinach and his muscle goes do, and he gets these big muscles. I feel as though that to me is what universal intelligence is. That every time that happens, and I hear and I see that it's always there, it grows. It grows within me. And you've heard some of the incredible speakers who are in this community, especially people like Bill Pettit and Elsie. There is no doubt in their mind whatsoever of the spiritual intelligence behind life. They've seen it time and time again. And all we have to be is awake to see it. And by awake, I mean alert. Just to see what's going on. We don't have to use these crazy words like spiritual intelligence and wisdom and insight and all that kind of thing. I talk to, when I work with young teenagers, I talk to them about their gut instinct. I talk to them about how when you plant a tomato seed, does it know to grow into a tomato plant? There's an intelligence behind all of life. How do the trees know to take in carbon dioxide and release oxygen? How does the moon know about the ebb and flow of the oceans? It's not learned behavior. There's something much greater than the sum of all of us that's guiding that. And that intelligence, and people get confused when you say it's a spiritual intelligence because they think there's a religious aspect to it. And when I talk about spiritual intelligence, I'm talking about the essence of every conscious being on the planet. Colliding, connecting, creating. And we get to have fun being in amongst that. And yet, as human beings, what we often do is we create this tense life. If a tomato plant knows it's going to grow into a tomato plant, a human being's going to grow into a human being. And the humanness of being a human being is we're not perfect. We have experiences. And I love what you said earlier about, you were that positive guy. I was that too, Kjetil. Oh my gosh, I was little miss positive. And if people threw lemons at me, I would make lemonade. Brush it off. Kind of like a non-stick frying pan. That's not going to stick to me, and off I would go. But it was because I wasn't allowing myself to feel my experiences. I wasn't learning.
Yeah, just being okay with it, not being afraid of what we're feeling and experiencing, just reminded me of a speaker who told me a story from his beginning as a speaker. And he was standing on stage and suddenly he was at the edge of this stage and he fell off. And everybody saw him, but he jumped up and just pretended that he didn't fall off.
Yeah.
Just because we're so afraid, looking bad,
It's like people sliding in the snow and falling in the ice. There's some people that just sit there and just can't stop laughing. And there's other people that get up and they're sort of looking around to make sure nobody's seen them, and they're all up in their heads, trying not to be human. It's funny. And I love slapstick humor, that kind of unfortunate humor. I love things like that. The fact that life just does that to us. It throws things at us, and you have this choice. You can either get all up in your head and feel bad about it, or condemn yourself or judge yourself, or you can say, what am I to learn from this? What am I not seeing? And then just let it go. Because life will keep throwing the same lessons at us until we learn. And as a woman who's had several lessons thrown at her several hundred times and not listened, yeah, I can vouch for that one.
Yeah, me too. Okay, so is it time to look at some of the questions?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay. Did you answer Leslie's question? Or
yeah. Leslie said yes, her heart was listening. So she's
okay.
I told the story.
I'll move on to the next then. And to all of everyone else listening, if something occurred to you or resonated, or a question popped into your mind, this is the time to just send it to us, and we'll do all our best to answer it.
I love what Tess said there about she's loving the conversation and how easy it is to achieve what's natural for us when we just come from a place of feeling good from the beginning. And when you know that the only thing that can ever stop you from feeling good is your own thinking.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it makes utter sense. So thank you so much, Tess.
Yeah.
Irene has asked a question here. Irene has said that she's a lawyer with a former career as a leader and governing major, but life has led her into a spiritual path, and she's a vision to co-create a business with another spiritual entrepreneur. She's trusting that the right people will show up at the right time, and she's asked me, Kjetil, in this, how did I change this fear state in my business? That's a great question, Irene. How did I change it? I didn't deliberately change it. I just saw through my own thinking. I saw through what I had created and how I had created it. It's all in the feeling. It is all in the feeling. If you're doing something and there's any tension associated with it, or there's any extra personal thinking about it, for me, in my experience, I know I've not to move forward. When I know that something is right for me, it's almost like the sentence is complete. There's a full stop. So when I decided to change what the Wellbeing Alliance was doing, it was very much, this is what this company has to do, full stop. Not, this is what this company has to do, but I might feel like doing this, or I could do this, or this may become involved. It was, the feeling was right that there was nothing else to add, there was nothing else to do. And that flow would come as and when I needed it, rather than me needing to see everything all at once. And that's, again, I think one of the wonderful things about how life works is that we're given insight. And sometimes it's not the whole of the insight. It's a part of it that you can then start to see working and happening in your life. And then you're given another wee bit. And it's almost, for me, and this is just my way of thinking about the world, is, again, it's spiritual intelligence having my back, giving me what it thinks I can handle at any given moment.
Yeah.
So it just unfolds. And I find that when I do anything from a place that's not from a place of love and a place of deep knowing, that fear just kicks in anyway. It's the extra thinking, it's the added questions, it's the not being sure. And that's what I meant about the full sentence. There's a full stop, because there's nothing about it I'm unsure about. And I'm sure all of us have had that in our lives. And here's, my husband and I, Jerry and I, met and married within 6 months. We've been married 24 years. And I love that guy more now than I loved him when I married him. And I did love him when I married him very much. He was the only man that I'd met in my life, and this is only in reflection, the only man in my life that the relationship was all based on mind. I never get into my personal thinking about anything with Jerry, and trust me, with other relationships, I was in my personal thinking a lot. With Jerry, there was just a quietness, and there was a stillness, and there was a surety. This was the right thing to do. There was no other choice. Not because there wasn't other choices, but there was no other choice for me. That was it. And that came from a place of love and not a place of fear. So when asking that question, Irene, about how did I change the fear state in my business, I didn't stop thinking about fear. I just saw what fear was. And I hope that answers your question. And I've always found, Irene, that the right people turn up. The right people turn up at the right time, as long as you show up.
Yeah, that's lovely. I like that. Okay. Thanks for sharing your story with Jerry too.
he gets fed up with me talking about him, Irene. we were at a conference in Spain, and one woman who'd heard a lot of, like, sort of the One Woman Global podcast that I do, and the other webinars and things that I speak on, and she met Jerry in person, and she said, "Oh, Jerry, you're the demigod." He was so embarrassed. So we laugh about that.
Yeah. I just, for my sake as well, the business wise and my fear in business, I didn't know. I really didn't know that I was creating from fear, or that was the starting point. I was blind for that feeling, or for that thinking. I just didn't see it. So what happened was, I got worried about money, or that I was not where I thought I should be, or something like that. So worry was the start of it, and feeling insecure about the future. And then I started planning. So I'm going to do this, that, and this and that for maybe 5 years, 4 years, 3 years, 2 years, 1 year, half a year, and down to months and days, and what I'm going to do tomorrow. And then I felt good, the planning. Then I felt good again. And then I said, I'll just take it tomorrow. And tomorrow, I felt good when I had a plan, but when I was going to start it, that feeling of insecurity came back, because I didn't come from that place of knowing, or inspiration to begin with, So I moved a little bit, and then I stopped, and I moved a little bit, and then I stopped, and just didn't really, nothing really felt right. And I always felt that, okay, if I just learn a little bit more from that feeling of insecurity and desperation and worry, you just feel like, if I learn a little bit more now, then I'll be good enough, and then I'll be great, and then, I'll know what to do. So I just kept on learning, and trying to fix myself, and trying to think better, trying to, get the best intellect in the world, and it's just such a beautiful thing to just see when you fall down in your state, or your mood, and become insecure and worried, like I still do. I just see that much faster and more often, and I know that this is not the time to create anything. I'm not able to create anything good now. It's just the time to, it's red light, so just stop, and wait for a while, and And as I see what's going on, it kind of, it just goes away, and it comes something new. And when you can just see your experience come and go, you can go with the flow.
Yeah.
Go downstream, you know. And so that's what's been happening to me. I just see my experience and see when I can come from desperation, and also when it comes something that's more inspiring to me, and we have the free will to go with that instead. Yeah.
I love that. I love what you said there about you're recognizing now when you're in that fearful place, because often what we do unknowingly when we're in a state of fear about things is we look outside of ourselves. We look outside of ourselves to find the next course or the next book or whatever it is that will give us the answers. And I guess knowing you that like me, when you start to see that you're looking outside of yourself, it's an indicator that it is time to slow down. It is time to be gentle with yourself. It may be that you are working too hard, or you're thinking too much, or you're holding on to too many thoughts that you think are great thoughts about things you want to do. And that's holding on to things too tightly instead of holding on to them lightly, knowing that whatever it is you need will come to you. For me, the recognition that in creating my businesses, Kjetil, that there is no blueprint. There is no blueprint for life. There is no blueprint for your business. If you think there's a blueprint and you're looking outside of yourself to get that blueprint of how your business should be, how your life should be, you're not, although it may give you ideas to try to replicate, that means that you're not being of service to yourself and you're not coming from a place of love, but you're coming from a place of fear because you won't access what it is within you that is your passion, that is your drive, that is what it is that you're meant to be doing in life. Not what somebody else is doing, but what you're meant to be doing. And as I said earlier, when you know what it is you're meant to be doing and you're listening to your essence and you're listening to the love that you have, there's a lightness and a playfulness and a drive and a passion that doesn't feel like the tense way of being that we are when we think, I have to create 20 landing pages, lead pages with funnels and all of these other things if I'm going to be successful. And I have to have this email list up to 500 and I have to send out 40 emails a week to make sure I get 10% return on what I'm doing. Yeah, we've all been there. I can send out 20 emails and have 10 or 15 people come back and say, yeah, I want to do that with you, Jacquie. Because they know me, they sense me, and they know that I walk my talk. And what I've loved about sort of my deepening understanding is seeing people come from a place of fear. People who are selling goods or selling services. I love watching webinars of people who are selling things. You know, they do these, not webinars, you know, you get these emails and they have little video clips. Particularly the ones that come from America, and you get these guys coming on and you can see that they're mimicking somebody that they know that talks like that, and they're talking really quickly and this is what you got to do and you got to do this, you got to do this, and it cracks me up because you can see that they're up here. They're not in their hearts. They're not speaking about what it is that makes sense to them, that fuels their energy, that wants them to create something in this world and make a difference. And that difference doesn't have to be something huge. It can be something simple, like smiling at somebody, one day, who knows what that smile's going to do? So anyway, I talk too much.
No, you don't. You know, that was just beautiful and touched me, and it's just so hopeful to see more of what we all have going for us inside.
And it's fun.
Yeah.
People get so damn serious about this. You know, it's kind of like, yeah, your thoughts create your reality. Who cares about the formless, the divine? You know, who cares? Feel it, understand it, and then if you want to research it and find out more about it, then please do that. Someone's put something on here that I'd love to speak to. Jacquie has spoken about the good part in life is we choose who we connect to being self. What other people have opinion on us doesn't matter. And he said he's shown a lot of love and respect, love and helped them, and they are not giving them the same respect, and they go against them. And do they have to use time and power on them? No, they're just best to do your best in life and not assume anything. I really like this, and the reason that I really like this is because it's reminding me about we have people in our lives and we're brought up to think, again, that we hold them tightly all of the time. So all of the interactions, everything that happens with them, we have to hold on tightly and give so much meaning to. My understanding of life and what I've seen is that when I interact with people, it's not a business transaction. I'm not looking for anything back. I'm loving that person, I'm communicating with that person, and I'm coming from a place of neutrality, hopefully, that there's no thought or extra judgment going on. But it's when my state of mind lowers, I can start to think that because I'm being that kind and loving person, that they owe me something. They owe me respect back. They owe me love back. And they don't. They absolutely don't. Because relationships are not business transactions. It's a space that we get to create in our lives to love, to live, to give from our hearts. And whatever else happens in that space has nothing to do with us. So when you're saying to me that if someone isn't giving you respect and they aren't loving you the way you want them to, look inside. Look inside and ask to see what it is you're not seeing. Because each and all of us are only ever doing the best that we can in any given moment. And when I have expectations of people, it's never a good thing. I hope that helps, Jacquie. Aga has asked, how do I know the decision I make is right? They've got a new job, I need to decide this week, and they're a bit scared of the unknown. They're really enjoying the call. We're delighted you're listening, actually. Do you want to answer that one, Kjetil, or do you want me to?
You can begin and
Sure.
Yeah.
For me, I don't get scared of the unknown, because for me, the unknown, a lot of people think of it as a dark place, a scary place. For me, the unknown is infinite potential. It can be anything I need it to be at any given moment in time. So when I'm in situations and I don't know what it is I'm meant to do next, or I don't know whether I'm to to sign a contract with a client. I don't know what it is I'm meant to do. I asked that question, I said earlier, and it's, what is it I need to see? What is it I need to know? And then I just leave it. Because if I keep thinking about it and thinking about it, my thinking gets cloudy and I start to believe the stories that I'm telling myself about it. Because I know that there's always a feeling when you know you're doing something right. There's always a feeling. And I would just say to you, Aga, look for that feeling of knowing that it's right for you. And if you can't remember what that feeling feels like, look back in your life and look at when you know you've done the right thing and try to remember that feeling. And hopefully that will guide you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's beautiful. I don't know if I need to comment much on that. I think it's really common to think that we are afraid of the unknown. And what I've started to see is life is the unknown, you know.
Yeah.
every moment has never been before, you know. It's perfectly new, it's perfectly fresh. And so it's something with, you know, when we just see that more and more, we fall more into the present, and in the present it's so much easier to know what feels right.
Mm.
You know, when we think too much, overthink things, is this right, is this wrong, and it doesn't feel good and it feels complicated, then that's the red light.
Mm.
That's the stopping point. And when you know it's simple, and if you don't know and it seems complicated, that means you're off. And so what happens to me is, if I don't know, many times I don't know what's right in life, and then I just wait.
Mm.
I don't force it. I just wait, and it's weird, but every time I need to make a decision, every time I need to make a decision, it comes to me when I need it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I've done many wrong decisions in my life. Oh yeah, I have.
But isn't that lovely? Even though you make what can seem like the wrong decision later, you're still given a gift of learning through it.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, if you see it as something bad, then you don't get to feel the joy of the learning.
yeah,
And for me, the unknown, when you were speaking there, was very much, it's a huge playground.
yeah.
It's not a dark, scary place. It's a huge playground of fun and potential, and we have such an opportunity to create what we want to create.
Mm.
And sometimes, and this was Michael Neal said this to me once when I was ruminating over something, because I find that when I'm not, in the past, when I've not been sure about things to do or I'm procrastinating, I have the cleanest house in the whole of Scotland. I'll clean everything. I'll do all my laundry. I'll do everything I'm meant to do, except the thing that I'm meant to do. But yet, as you said, Kjetil, when it's time for you to make that decision, it's an internal time. It tells you what time. And Michael Neal said to me, perhaps, Jacquie, see that as germination, not procrastination. So sometimes when we're trying to figure things out, we get in our own way. But if we just get out of our own way and don't give ourselves a hard time about the fact that we don't yet know what it is we're meant to do, we free our mind up to look at the possibilities and play with them. And that helps us in our subconscious minds come up with the right answer.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like we can put it on the back burner.
Yeah, exactly. Or the back of your mind, all these old sayings that have been going around for years.
Just sleep on it, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was one of the things that showed me my girls, because I never speak to them about this understanding. And that was one thing that showed me with my daughters. They were getting this because one of my daughters would always phone me about 10 o'clock at night with all the worries that she had in the world. And she would go to bed relaxed because she'd got it out of her head. But then I'd taken it in my head and I couldn't sleep because I was going over and over it in my head.
Yeah.
And after a while, she started phoning me in the morning and saying, I knew that I just needed to have a good sleep. I knew that everything would be okay in the morning. I thought, wow, such wisdom, such wisdom. But if I had said, away you go and sleep on that, wouldn't have worked. So I hope that helps, Aga. I hope that helps.
Yeah. Yeah. We have, how far down have we gone in the questions now? Is it?
It's probably at Stein because Leslie's one's okay. I hope that goes okay for you, Leslie.
Yeah. Stina, sometimes I get insecure. Is it fear that makes me not doing things or just that it's not right? Yeah.
I think we spoke to that quite a bit, actually. Stein, if you let us know whether we can have answered your question or not, that would be really useful. Or you want us to talk a bit more about it. Oh, Aga said that helped a lot. Fantastic. But Stein, please let us know if you want us to go into that a bit more deeply.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, Irena, I have been a clever boy. Yes. Thank you for sharing, Kjetil. I do recognize this pattern of being a clever girl, and for you, clever boy. Yes. And Leanne, I've just realized I have been trying to create a lifestyle from the outside in. Gotta have this, gotta look like this, I should be doing this. Nothing has been coming from the heart and soul. I didn't realize how soulless and heartless I had felt until you both started the conversation. Thank you both for giving me a nudge and pointing me back into the soul's direction.
Oh, thank you, Leanne. That's beautiful.
That's really beautiful.
Yeah, it's lovely.
Thank you.
So Stein says we've answered the question very well and is now laughing. So that is a good thing. From a state of worry to a state of giggles is always good.
Yeah, so life is saying harmony, total harmony in life. I remember this feeling through this webinar. And the last time was a few decades ago.
Oh, bless.
I have thought about the values in life. Achieving goals has been good. What about yours, harmony in life and tools? What about yours, harmony in life and tools?
I don't quite understand that, actually. Is that... I don't understand. I love that you're remembering a feeling, Leaf. I think that's beautiful. What creates harmony? There are no tools. What creates harmony for me, or how to achieve harmony? Yeah, thank you. Live from your essence. Live from your heart. It's another one of those full stop moments. It's kind of like that. Yeah, live from your heart.
Yeah. 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 I was thinking about, should I add something, and no, I think that's okay.
But isn't it cute how that works? It works like that. You think so if you get into sort of this ego state, and it's kind of like, yeah, I need to say something here because it's expected I'm meant to say something because I'm on this webinar. And then you're fighting against the fact that you know you have to be quiet. How often does that happen to us? That you know a conversation's finished, but you still want to go and I in sales, I see that a lot when I'm doing sales courses with people and we're talking about the selling process.
Yeah.
Is when you really, really connect with your essence and your wisdom, you know when to shut up. You know when the person is ready to buy. You're just so connected. Yet some people still want to go on about the features and benefits of their product. Yet the guy wants to buy.
Yeah. 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 But if you're way up in your head, you don't see that.
No.
You don't.
Not at all.
You're looking in the wrong direction then.
I don't know if anybody else has any more questions or they want to share something with us.
I had some different people in the chat as well, saying different things here. I don't think we have looked at those. So I'll just go through a couple of those. Morten Hake, to everyone, resonated a lot with being Mr. Positive, then then missing out on a lot of learning from not daring to just be and feel in the moment. Learning a lot from life these days, finding wisdom everywhere. Ha 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 ha. P.S. Great convo, lots of love.
That's lovely.
That's great, Morten. I like that. And okay, that was the same from Alexis Blancard. Thank you so much. I so enjoyed listening to this conversation. Sorry I have to pop off before the end. Lots of love to you both. Lots of love back to you.
Yeah, absolutely, Alexis.
And wonderful how it always seems to come back to love, our true loving identity. Just an observation in the moment from Niels.
From Niles. Hi, Niles. Thank you.
Yeah.
It does, though, doesn't it? It is all about love. There isn't anything else.
Yeah, this is a beautiful talk. Everything resonating with me. Thank you so much for sharing. We'll sleep on it. From Russia. That's great, Russia.
Thank you, Russia.
Yeah. So it's about, I think we're getting close to the end, and if it's any more questions, we'll take them, or we'll just wrap it up. And I'll just see. It seems like all is given to us if we just listen. Thank you. This was all I needed today, from Laila. That's great, Laila.
Oh, yeah, lots of love to you, Laila.
Yeah. Thank you so much, guys, from Stina. Okay, and yeah, just read. Great conversation. Thank you so much, both of you. Love from John and Natasha.
Yeah, love back.
Yeah, love back. Okay, and yeah, so I'm just finishing of the conversation, I can, if you love the conversation, or if you want to hear more from Jacquie or me, and you're welcome to join the program that starts in April. If you want some more information about that, you can look on my website. It's Kjetil Haugmo. Oh, that's really hard. Elsie calls me Sand. That's my mother's name. So, my website is it's KJETIL HAUGMO.no, and it's under Eventer, and it's actually written in English. So you'll find a little bit more about Jacquie there. You'll see the other mentors in the program, and if you have any questions around that program, just send me a message on Facebook. If there is anything else, I don't know if do you have anything else on before we wrap up, Jacquie?
No.
Yes, you look very harmonic now.
Yeah, it's cool. Life is good.
Yeah, I feel good. Yeah, I don't know how to. I'm so happy and grateful. It just feels so right to have you on the program. It feels so right to have you in this conversation today. I hope we can do this again many times.
Yeah, me too.
So I just love this conversation,
Yeah, me too. And thank you for asking me, Kjetil, because it's an honor and a privilege to have the conversation with you, but to have you in my life too. You're a beautiful soul, and you have such a lovely energy about you that's very giving. And it's obvious you just want to share that.
Oh, that's nice. That touched me. Thank you. And I feel the same way about you. And that's just really beautiful. It's not, I don't know, every person has that inside of them. And it's so beautiful when a person just lights up a room that you do.
Yeah. I have to laugh because I can't take that seriously. There was a couple of bits there. So Irene said, "Love is all there is. Thank you, you beautiful souls." Thank you, Irene. You're a beautiful soul too. And lots of love back to you, Leaf, from both of us.
Yeah. Okay, so if there's I think, was it something in the chat as well? Yes, there was one thing more. You are great, both, from Vidlarion. Thanks. That's nice. That's lovely. Yeah. It's like nice is not good enough. Lovely is better. Yeah. Oh, we have a couple more coming in at the last. You're the sweets. That's very sweet, Aga. And Rita, this was awesome. Much love to both of you.
Oh, much love to you too.
Yes.
I hope everybody has a lovely, lovely, lovely rest of their evening. And thank you so much for taking time to come and listen to two crazy people rambling about life.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, everyone. And if you have any questions or anything in the back end, just send either Jacquie or me a message on Facebook. Is Facebook a good way to contact you?
Facebook's fine. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. So thank you everyone, and have a lovely evening. Thank you, Jacquie, and we'll be in touch.
Okay, take care. Bye.
Okay, see
Bye.
you. Bye
Bye.
bye.